Whenever there's a news story about a horrible instance with many deaths, such as a school shooting or a murderer on the loose, it is a breaking news story that everybody in that country, or even worldwide, knows about. A very similar news story is being played on the TV in front of me right now. However, it is currently local. It is currently local because it just happened, around 10 minutes ago, in my neighbourhood. Somebody, whose name had not yet been specified, has broken into 3 homes and killed every body inside them. 11 people have died, and 2 pets. The first home was a family of 5. The parents, 2 sons and a daughter. All of them, even their family dog, were killed. The scariest part is that the murderer never took anything from that house, or any of the houses. The police have checked many times, and although they did not notice anything was stolen, they noticed that the bathtub in that house was filled with blood. As you probably have guessed, the same thing happened with the other 2 houses, one containing a newlywed couple and their cat, the third one containing a single father and his 3 children. Normally, when I see these stories, it does not usually bother me. People die all the time. However, this story definitely bothered me. These 3 houses were only 3 blocks away from me. It was 1 a.m. and I was tired, but there was no way I could sleep after watching this. I waited 3 more hours watching the news, seeing if the killer would strike again, but obviously that did not come true. I decided to give up and just go to bed. It was very unlikely anybody would break into my house tonight, so I decided to go upstairs and get some rest. Thankfully, my prediction was correct, because nobody broke into my house last night. However, the news said the killer broke into 2 more houses, killing 5 more people, and filling the 2 houses' bathtubs with blood. The story was definitely worldwide at this point, and you could see the fear on the newscaster's face when they were talking about the story, as they were from the same neighbourhood that this was taking place in, like me. The chief of police department was on the news, talking about how he and a group of other policemen have been searching for the killer non-stop without rest. People are moving out of their homes now, going far away from this neighbourhood. I am seriously considering this as well. It's not safe here anymore. However, unlike the last 3 houses that were 3 blocks away from mine, these 2 houses were 5 blocks away. This was further away, but still. I spent the rest of my day paranoid, thinking someone was going to break into my house and kill me before going to bed. This was getting very serious. When I woke up this morning, I checked the news, and big surprise, the news said the killer was still at large. He broke into 16 houses. However, 12 of them were empty, due to people moving out in fear. That didn't matter though. He still broke into 4 houses with people inside, killing 15 people and 4 pets. However, the police saw him entering the last house and surrounded him. Even with policemen with guns and guard dogs surrounding him, he somehow still managed to escape. They did get a photograph of the killer, however, a blurry one, but still a photograph. Now my fear was at my peak. Death scares me, and I begin to cry. It took me forever to save up from my house, so I definitely did not want to leave it. This all happened 14 blocks away from me, so I doubt anybody would be coming my way. However, to keep myself safe, I bought a pistol and kept it underneath my pillow. Everybody dies, but the thought of death scares me, and I do not want to die much earlier before I have to. For the next 5 days, nothing happened. Absolutely nothing. No stories about how the killer broke into more homes. No stories about them catching the killer. No stories about the killer committing suicide. Absolutely nothing. These stories about the killer were dying, so I guess that meant that it was safe for me to go outside. I guess it was always safe to go outside. During the day at least, considering the killer only killed his victims at night. I decided to take a walk around the park and enjoy some fresh air. The park was surprisingly empty. I guess it's not that surprising if you think about it. Most of the people moved out of the neighbourhood or were afraid to come outside. The quietness of the park was actually very soothing, so I was sort of glad I decided to go to the park today. However, the quietness of the park was also terrifying, so I decided to head back home soon. However, I saw something that made me stop right in my tracks. It was him, the one they showed on the news. He was staring right at me. I began to run. I've never ran so hard in my life. He was slightly faster than me, just slightly though, so there was still a chance I could outrun him. I remembered there was a forest right near the park. If I could get there, without him catching me, I could be able to lose him. I ran as hard as I could to the point I felt like I was going to pass out. But after 3 minutes of running, I finally reached the forest. I was running side to side through the trees, trying to lose him. It was working, and I was getting a good distance away from him. However, my body was ready to collapse, and I was breathing very heavily. I didn't care about any of this though, because even though I felt a lot of pain from the running, the feeling of pain is much better than whatever he was going to do to me. He was getting closer too, dangerously close actually, and the next thing I knew, I was tackled and handcuffed. It was the chief of police. He brought me into his car. He didn't even need to tell me anything. I already knew what my punishment was. My punishment was death, and sadly, I already knew there was going to be no way around it.
Hey guys, if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. You can also leave a comment below. All feedback, good or otherwise, is always appreciated. If you have any creepy stories of your own, or have any topics that you would like me to cover, feel free to send them in via any of my social media. You can find all links to my social media in the description below. Until next time guys, make sure you lock your doors, stay safe, and I'll see you next video.